Happy Thursday, everybody. Especially to Sean, who is apparently early and been
Yeah.
waiting on us all day.
Yes. Yeah. Happy Thursday. And it's always nice to see the chat go live before we go live, and then reminds us that we should probably actually go live.
Oh yeah.
So
Instead of
thanks
sitting
to
there
Sean.
talking in the green room, we're just sitting there
Yeah.
carrying on, and we're waiting to. People are waiting on us.
Yeah, we better go. All right.
Yep.
So
Woo.
here we are, episode 47 of Cloud Foundry Weekly. If you hadn't seen the show last week, we kind of did. We started this deep dive into what we call the Open-WebUI, which is kind of this popular AI front end application that's used all over the place, and how do we kind of use that within the Cloud Foundry ecosystem, right?
Yep.
And we went a little over time, and we got the app pushed. We showed how to get the app pushed, how to start using some models on the GenAI tile within Cloud Foundry, and then that's about really all far. That's kind of where we got. So I guess this is going to be our part 2, and that was just the previously on segment of the episode. So now we're in the next episode of can we do some more cool things with Open-WebUI for the episode.
And by the way, everybody,
also,
Nick thought he was going to get through the whole Open-WebUI last week, and he was wrong.
Well,
that's good though.
Yeah, I guess it's very rare these days where I start any presentation and then finish it in time. So I guess
hello, Keith.
Yes, give a shout out to Keith.
So we're going to be doing part 2 on this. We're probably going to,
Mhm.
I got some things I want to bring up that I've learned about AI that last week kind of inspired me. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But advanced use cases, is that what we're doing today?
Sure. That sounds great.
I love it when you're so definitive.
Yes. Do you have any banter before we start? Before we dive into this the deep end, so to speak?
I will say
fun things happening.
Yeah, I will say, between, hey, Deshaun, call out to you. You got me inspired. I went out and I got myself a Turing Pi. So I'm going to be building that out. And use case on that, I'm going to be trying to take Coder and seeing if I can get that installed on a Turing Pi, kind of a, take around dev environment. So this will be my first foray into Pi. It'll, yeah, but we'll, Deshaun inspired me. We'll see how that works out for me. I'm really excited about that, and hopefully we can talk a little bit more about that in the coming weeks when travel slows down and I get this Pi built out.
Well, I think I already see a vision in your future where you're carrying around a cluster of Pis that are all running Coder agents or engines or whatever you call them.
Yep.
And somehow Deshaun gets linked up to you, and then I don't know. There's 1,000 Raspberry Pis in this picture somewhere in the future. I don't know.
Me and Deshaun have already been talking, so hopefully we'll be able to do something here soon with that. But yeah, he's inspired me. Now the Turing's a little bit too big just to carry around in my backpack, but I'm going to build this one out as part of my home lab, and then based on the success of that, then I'm going to probably buy a bunch of the little Pis and carry those around with me as well.
Well, as we're talking home labs, if you need any space in the Kuhn Labs data center, I have plenty of capacity. So just let me know.
We'll do.
If you need to test anything out.
Well, I'm going to be hitting you up for one of your Cloud Foundation, Cloud Foundry foundations to use for some demos and stuff. So, but you already knew that. We talked.
Oh yeah. I mean,
thanks a lot, Deshaun. You made me spend money, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be exciting. How about you? Anything new? You got some new stuff in the home lab.
Yeah. So I guess in preparation for today, I've been testing a side project I've been working on. And so I do have and I think I hinted at this last episode too, where I got this new super micro box. It's quad GPU compatible. So I've got 4 Tesla P40s in it. And I started running some real workload on it this morning. And I was a little nervous how loud it could be. And let me tell you, it gets pretty loud. So definitely not something I'm probably going to run 24/7, 365, but it is configured in a way where I could probably just power it off and power it back on when I'm doing things. I don't know. I haven't fully figured that out yet, but
I wonder if there was somebody you knew that could talk to you about how you could bring development environments up that could use the GPUs and then bring them down when you're not using them anymore.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if there's somebody you could talk to about that. No,
If only.
I mean, that's exciting. Did the missus get mad at you for the noise? The jet boats you've got going down in the basement?
Well, when it's not in use, it's actually, I mean, it kind of it's in the normal ambiance of
Mhm.
the general data center uh noise spec, but I started putting some workload on it this morning. I put some stuff on. I've actually put a video on it on my Twitter, my LinkedIn. And, it was definitely screaming earlier. So I'm gonna have to see what I can do. There's an additional fan cage I can add on to the back of the system, and that might help reduce the fan rev, so to speak, under load. So we'll see.
If
But
we were better at this, I would have the dollar signs just flying across the screen right now. Your one server is going to become another data center and all in its own.
yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it was pulling like 200-300 watts under load, so I was expecting a lot more, so that's okay. That wasn't like completely crushed, but well, I'll take it
Yeah.
because the PSUs are rated way higher, so I'll take that for sure.
Well, and I'd say the other thing, this is the reason that we were late, Deshaun, is we noticed that I'm drinking from a floating can of water. So hey, shout out to Kirkland Seltzer. But yeah,
Yeah,
we were amazed at the Cloud Foundry logo that's over the can. Anyway.
yeah, that's a preview to our new merch, Kirkland sponsored Cloud Foundry weekly seltzer with the Cloud Foundry wrap.
Right up until we get hit with the cease and desist, right? So
yeah, no, we're already talking to Costco. We're gonna get those cans on production real soon.
All right. Well, let's get in.
Yeah, we should get to the topic.
Yeah, let's talk advanced use cases with Open-WebUI.
Yes. So if we basically got it pushed to CF last week, right? So now, and there's a lot of things that we could do to expand the use cases of said application.
And reminder to everybody, it's a big app when you push it, right? So
Mhm.
make sure you may have to do some modifications on your Foundry with default sizes and stuff, but big app. It takes a while, but once it's there, it's there.
Yeah. And then yes, if somebody again watching has figured out the Python dependency route, let me know. I should document that too. I think a couple people have already. My last foray was not super successful, so I will
And
take
we did a call
stab
out
at
to
that.
the mad developer himself, Findsy, and said, "Hey, figure something out," didn't we?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That is definitely something I did not get to yet, was the SSO piece, but I was able to get some of the database functionality working, and we can get into that. We can talk about some vision things and go from there. So let me get my screen going here and prepare to not be inception. So let me move StreamYard over here. Minimize this.
And by the way, Keith, we always appreciate you staying up late with us, man.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to get to be on a show with you again. Seems like every time you come on the show, it's when I'm not here.
Oh yeah, Keith is doing kind of a lot of work on some scripting and a way to do rapidly deployments of Cloud Foundry and things. So I think we could have a whole episode just on some of the work he's been doing lately.
Look forward to it.
We need to plan that. And Keith, you should ping me in chat so I don't forget, and we can do that. But all right. The screen share. Challenge of the day. Entire screen.
Shout out to AK Racing for the chair that.
Yes. That is not my sponsor. And that maybe that is our sponsor. Yeah, our sponsor segment.
Well, that's how we get sponsors. Is we keep showing stuff on
Yeah.
Brought to you by Kirkland Signature. All right.
Okay. I'm getting things going, and I apologize. Today has been very crazy busy, and I was planning to be a little bit more prepared, but hey, whatever. We're here. And yeah, don't worry about those video credentials unless you're in my home lab. You can't get to anywhere. But that was just me testing some things. So
I'm gonna need you to blow it up just a little bit, bud.
Yep.
There we go.
I'm getting
Perfect.
there. I'm getting there.
You know me, I'm impatient.
I know. It's okay. So let's see here. We have our apps manager on the right. We have my our trusty VS Code on the left. If we kind of get back to where we were. So I actually have 2 copies of this running now. So I have I'm doing like kind of A/B testing on the fly. If we go to really any of them, we could probably do we'll do actually a new push Well, no, that would take forever. So we won't do that. But we will look at services, and we can talk about different model types, what we're doing with the database as well, and seeing how that's going, and then kind of go from there. So if we look at the .profile file, I haven't committed this yet to the repo that we have all this code in, but let me drag this over because it's all smushed. So start talking about adding you could do databases for embeddings and for like the main database like functionality of the app. So when you start talking about like it will save like your chat history. You can have all these different chats, and when you restart the app and come up and down, you can easily do that with Postgres, and we can also do PG vector embeddings as well. So I have that configured right now in this app. So that was just done simply with 3 lines, adding to the .profile portion of the app in the code. So we're enabling the vector DB equals PG vector. Before that was just local in memory. So when the app crashed, you lost all your embeddings. I'm passing it the PG vector DB URL, which is then parsing VCAP services, and then we're doing the classic JQ to find the Postgres, query the Postgres service that's bound to this app, and then look for the URI string for the credentials. And then we could also use that same exact thing for the database URL as well. So we're using the same Postgres database to store embeddings and to store like some of the key functionality of the actual app itself. Like if you wanted to create like your own user database, like which maybe we could do as well. Like if you watch Network Chuck, he actually did a video on this, and he was using Open-WebUI to front all of his like locally hosted LLMs for his children, and then he like made accounts for each of his children, and then was able to like force permissions and prompts on top of that, where kind of do some parental control in these LLMs so that they couldn't just like do all their homework for him type of thing, but he prompted the models to help them and not just like write their whole paper for him type of thing. So
now the reason we're doing this instead of just doing the regular create service and bind is this is the workaround that you were kind of talking about last week, right?
Right. So yeah, I've already created the service, this Postgres on demand here. So I pre-plumbed that, and I bound it to the application. And then when I push this application, this is what's going on here, is that this is how we tell the Open-WebUI in the Cloud Foundry ecosystem to make use of VCAP services, right? And like, like before, this is how we're parsing all the models that get bound to it. Well, we just added this new block to cover in adding the Postgres database to do embeddings and the actual like database itself. So now that we can go ahead and let's just, we'll go to this route here. Let me get some fix in here. So we have multiple models here, and like we have a hello chat, and like this is something I've started testing this other llama model on as well. But you can see I already have a chat saved here, and we'll actually restart this application. And before that would all been lost. Everything would have no history whatsoever. But it's because we're adding that database functionality in there. It's saved. Your chats are saved. Yada yada yada. That type of thing. So
persistence is a thing.
Yeah, and especially when we're talking Cloud Foundry, it's based on stateless web applications. So like it does have like this app in Cloud Foundry itself has this concept of disk, right? But this is ephemeral disk. Like this is like a pro tip if you've never used Cloud Foundry before. This is very similar to like an ephemeral container disk within a Kubernetes environment as well. Like this app gets restarted, it's gone. It's gone. So don't ever treat this disk for like real persistent things you need to save, because the app could crash. It could get restarted, and that's where you start to get some of like the 12 factors. We go way back when. That's how you have be able to run multiple apps, multiple instances of the app, having it like elastically scale up and down, like some of the autoscaler things. It's just kind of basic web app flow, right? So just a pro tip there. That's why our state is being stored externally on our Postgres database. I was playing around with wiring some of this up into S3. We may get to that live and see what we can do. I think there's some debate on if just using S3 is better than trying to process all the documents as vector embeddings, because there's some chunk size issues. So we can talk about that too. But yeah, anywho, let's go ahead. I'm going to look for services. And so I'm going to actually add, while we're here, so I'm going to go back to our marketplace. I added a new model to the marketplace. So let's add that functionality really quick. So I added the Llama 3.2 vision model as well. So I'm gonna actually select this plan and copy
All right.
it.
So while you're doing that, why?
Why? Because
what's up with this model that made you want to bring this in?
so this model is kind of geared for vision. So like I want to take an image, like I want to send an image to the LLM and have it do something to it or something
Gotcha.
with it. It's not the like,
It's not
hey,
generation.
yes,
right?
it's the reverse. It's like I'll send you an image, you tell me what it's like, kind of like a computer vision type of thing, right?
Okay.
And that maybe this is great for like a real world use case of like you have a new product search feature coming on, or like you have like in you're like you have an app on your phone, you're like taking a picture of a thing, and then maybe you could have that app just do have an LLM through that vision processing and vision search. And be like, what is this picture? Like, oh, I think it is Uncrustables, right? And
Right.
then tie that to a product SKU like on your database or something, right? And Deshaun and I we're doing talks about this last year, I think, about and he's done some things too, where with like taking images and then processing them with Spring AI, and like having that similar experience with something called Lava, which is another vision model. Now I YOLO'd and I've never used Llama 3.2 Vision 11B, and I deployed it. So we'll see how it goes. I used
Yeah.
to do vision demos with Lava, but Lava's like a year old now, and in the AI scope of things, that's like forever. So Llama 3.2 is only 3 months old. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'll give
We'll
you
see how
another
it
use
goes.
case. Company I used to work for, large medical company. They were building something like this using vision images to help
Hmm.
people identify their prescriptions. Everybody knows, for some point in time, you go into your cabinet, you see these pills, you don't remember what they are. Take a picture.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
helps you identify those. Great use case. This is one of those things that could probably help actually save somebody's life if they're not sure what the medication is. And
Hmm.
don't throw that stuff down the toilet. Right. Make sure
Yeah.
you identify it and get rid of it properly. But that was one of the use cases for vision that I thought was really cool.
Yeah. That is a pro tip right there. And yeah. Pharmaceutical prescription images are a big
Mhm.
deal. I used to work at a company too that different company, very similar in the scope of things.
Yep.
Maybe both large retailers that do pharmaceuticals. Um, yeah, like having like a dot or not dot on a prescription, like a 10 dot or 10 blank, could be a radically different dosage
Yep.
type of thing. Um,
And that's
yeah.
one of the great things when we're talking about this. I mean, not only is AI opening up these use cases, but when you look at things like Spring AI, you look at the Gen AI tile that we're putting in Cloud Foundry, it gives you that ability again to switch between all these different models, switch between, see what works better for you. And I think that's going to be key. Well, it 100% is key for adoption, is making this stuff easy. And I know, Deshaun could probably talk about this for hours, but when we're looking at Spring AI in combination with these things, I'm going to go back to what Adib said. Best way to get started on this stuff is just to start. And, hopefully when you start discovering things like this, it makes it easier for you.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and we're adding this Llama 3.2 Vision 11B to the app.
Mm-hmm.
And this is I guess first pro tip here. So we've already pushed Open-WebUI test, right? And we know that if you haven't vendored in all your dependencies, even if you have, it's still it's a big app. You're pushing a lot of data around depending on where you are. I think like I didn't quite get it fully to work, but even like the fully vendored package payload is like over a gig. So depending on network speed and things like that, still will take a while. But you may want to kind of play around and like swap services in and out. And luckily, because we have this, if you push it with some of these dot profile settings, it's going to just automatically rebind on a restart. And restarting this app within Cloud Foundry is exponentially faster than repushing it. So very happy that this is possible, because then I can just go deploy models, swap them in and out as I see fit, and then just do a restart and not have to repush every time, because that takes a while.
Right.
And yeah. So we're gonna. So I bound this to the app. So now when I do this restart, it's gonna then process all these embeddings, all these tags again, and we'll have that option. So let's go from there. Restart, and we'll restart it. And this should maybe take like a minute or two to restart, not 10 minutes.
So
or whatever,
explain the
15
load
minutes.
platform search for me. So it's not automatically picking up certs from the foundation. You have to manually load those. Well, I won't say manually, but
no, this is the function where we're running that, and it says, hey, like, look here for the CA certs on the container.
Okay.
Right. Because the platform is passing that too, but this foundation has a bunch of like my own custom CA certs.
Gotcha.
That are, like, not like a real. That's not like a really a real world cert. So we're just this is like, this is base like if you're if you're not using publicly signed certs, your internal CA type of thing.
Gotcha.
Functionality. So this really apply to any style of application running on the platform. And even like even if you were trying to run a Java app like locally on your own machine and call some endpoint that's not a publicly signed CA cert, you're gonna get a similar issue there. You're gonna be like, hey, I don't know, I don't trust this cert, like
right,
that type of thing. So that's a way to kind of get past that. Plus, when this app could make calls to other apps, and it has a bunch of like functions to do like web searching and crawling and things. If you're calling other things that are also signed by said private CA, it's not going to then blow up trying to make a it just fixes all that, because it's going to just knows about all my own CAs.
Gotcha.
Apps, right.
All right. Well, you see why I asked, because I imagine people are thinking, well, wait a minute, I thought the platform did that for me. So good explanation. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's probably way too long-winded. And I even saw on the Open-WebUI portal, they added some documentation around doing that as well, because I think that wasn't there before. So like in tutorials, there's we'll get back to there. They called that out specifically, of like importing your own CA certs. So anywho, all right, so this has been restarted. That should be good to go. Let's refresh this page. So like before, this should have been like gone, like, hey, sorry, we weren't saving any of this, but now kind of show the database is still working. Okay, let's go. I've got new models now, which is great. I've got intro chat that's still here. All right. I asked it to write me a story about a pirate cat that likes to sail the high seas and listens to Cloud Foundry Weekly podcast, and start with meet Captain Whiskerpaws.
I do love that name, Whiskerpaws.
Yeah, maybe that can be our new mascot. I don't know. Add another. I don't know. I'm just doing this to like fire up another model here. Another story, a paragraph about where Captain Whiskerpaws am I typing that right? I can't type this. Captain Whiskerpaws went next. I don't know. Just trying to feed the model for a second. And while that happens, so we have all these things. Now we could also do a new chat. I think that will be okay. We'll select the vision model here.
Yeah.
All right. So we've added this thing. This is going to be. We'll see if this works. Now we need to go do the fun thing of trying to find an image to process, and I need to find that really quickly. Or we could just grab something randomly off the interwebs.
You grab your avatar image. Let's see what it says about the fake Nick Kuhn.
Oh,
you still got that picture?
Well, we were talking about backgrounds here. I like the I like our initial intro, because I used to do this before, and I'd be like, how many people are in the image, and like who's got a beard, who doesn't have a beard. Like we could talk beard questions. So let me see. Give me 1 minute here to comb my archives of my very unorganized Mac file system here. I have this saved somewhere. Or actually, no, I just emailed them to you not too long, so we'll go back to look in the email sent history. That might be the fastest way, because
oh yeah, you did send them to me. Google Chat. By the
I am
way,
the
if you're on Google Chat and you want to talk to me, Nikki@coder.com. Talk to me on Google Chat. Same with Nick.
Yeah.
Well, he's not Nikki@coder.com.
Yeah. You only get one of us that way.
That's right.
All right. So okay, cool. So let's see. I found the image. I'm gonna download it because that's how I roll. And let's see. Look, we can add. So let's
Okay.
upload images. And now people like even if you've oh it's probably in this. It's probably already here because that's how I roll. Demo images. Well, I did all that and had it just already in my saved history. So Cloud Weekly, I think it's a V2. We'll see what happens. All right, so like, how many people are in this image? Well, I should probably type image, right? So this is never used this model before. We'll see. And
Man, those two good-looking guys. I got to tell you.
yeah. And if you haven't seen the Cloud Foundry Weekly podcast, you should totally check it out.
Absolutely.
All right, well,
I hear it's all the rage.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there are two men depicted in this image. One man's face is located on the left side of the image, and another man's on the right side of the image. Okay. I mean,
I expected more. I expected more.
Well, I mean, the vision models aren't as verbose as some of these other ones.
Gotcha.
Like this other guy. What's going on here? Well, that's a new feature. It just like gave me a little prompt when it was done. So, oh man, it said add another paragraph where Captain Whisker Paws went next, and it looks like it wrote me a whole new story.
You know what? Nobody puts llama in a corner when it wants to write a book.
Well, then look at this. Oh, whoa. Okay. All right. On a side note here, so Nikki, we may have just struck gold here. I've never seen this before, but I don't know how this has context about what we actually talk about. Because then originally, so it saves this context. It says, hello. I said, hi, hello. Like, can you write me a story, the original about the pirate cat that likes to sail the high seas and listens to the Cloud Foundry Weekly podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So latest episode developments in cloud computing, such as all things related to Cloud Foundry ecosystem. Isn't that part of our YouTube description?
It is.
So a model has been trained on us. Oh, I'm sorry. A weird, strange personal note. But anyway, usually I'm used to not having any kind of pre-trained inference knowledge on the Cloud Foundry Weekly podcast. So I think we may have just I don't know. And
I just read part of that. Her ears would perk up when she heard the tales of Bosch and CFCLI. You know what, Captain Whiskers? Mine do too. That's awesome.
Yeah. But wow. Okay. Sorry. I know probably people are more used to being crawled, but I don't think. I think if you tried a Llama 3.1 or 3.2, it would have not known about what the Cloud Foundry Weekly podcast is. So, anywho. We could talk about Meowser's Revenge as well. So, sorry. So, do we have another question for the vision model? What are we going to do with it?
Yeah, let's ask it. We've got to ask about beards. Let's ask it about beards.
Which man has the longest beard? This could be dangerous.
Now, while you're doing this, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I tried to use GenAI to create our avatars back when we first started the podcast. You know this story, Nick. And I put them in there. Mm-hmm. I uploaded a picture of myself. It's a picture that everybody sees. It's on all my profiles. Said, hey, create me an avatar using this picture. And it gave me 6 examples. It gave me 6 examples back. Every one of them, think the old school Kung Fu films, like the Chinese guy. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's what every one of them made me look like. Made me look like a very old Chinese man. And it was, I wish I'd have kept them because they were awesome pictures. They really were, except, I'm not a Chinese guy, but it would have been great cover art for a new Kung Fu film, Cloud Foundry Kung Fu.
Well, I mean, if we keep talking about it and putting it on the internet, eventually it will be crawled by another model training run, and it'll probably just 2 years from now, we'll be talking about Cloud Foundry Kung Fu, right? All right, so let's see the vision model. So this is actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
This is definitely better than lava. I'm glad I selected it. The man with a white beard appears to have the longer beard. The length of a beard can be subjective. However, if we measure from the bottom of his chin, it would appear that he has a significantly longer beard than the man on the left side of this image.
Yeah.
And I would say that is accurate.
That's true.
Yeah. So okay. So this was we could dance around this image thing for a while now, but that's kind of one of these advanced use cases of like these vision models. Now, when we're
All right,
talking about
audience, while we're waiting and while we're doing this, if there's anybody
Mhm.
in the audience, let's try this out. If y'all have a question y'all want to ask of the image, let's see what the model does. Just throw it in the chat. We'll throw it out there.
assuming we can post it. Yeah. Anywho, so yes, again, when we're talking the Cloud Foundry ecosystem, we're talking about like large enterprise production scale systems and companies and things. So you could see something like this being very useful for this vision model concept. And we were able to deploy this an AI model pretty quickly. We're hosting it via Bosch, via the Cloud Foundry ecosystem. It's all private. I don't have to worry about where that data is going, but we could potentially save tons of money by not relying on some kind of or not necessarily completely removing it, but doing this type of like product search, product recognition. If we talk about that, like could be a very expensive task on like a more like a classic data source, like maybe like some type of like large NoSQL database doing like in-memory, like large in-memory searching of like context searching and things. But if you have an LLM that's like trained on everything, maybe you can potentially do this on a much smaller footprint because this model is running on a single VM. Now this is attached to a GPU. It's running pretty well, but in the past, we had we did at one of my previous roles, we did large product searching things on very large clusters of things, and I was just like, well, I could probably do something very close with something like this, and maybe not have that there. But anyway,
I mean, the HR type use cases, the documentation type use cases. I mean, this could be huge for internal tools. I mean, not all apps go out to the public. A lot of apps are used internally within the enterprise. I see a lot of use cases for this for internal enterprise use.
Right. Okay. And then I guess one other thing. So we'll do. There's another 35 minutes. All right. So let's see if my workspaces. Another thing to do that you can do is knowledge within Open-WebUI, and you can feed it some knowledge. And I have kind of wiped out my previous knowledge set because I was testing out different things. But I can go ahead and add. I can make a new knowledge base. So CF weekly, right? Or no, let's call it Nick's schedule.
Well, and let's just talk about knowledge bases for people that, if they're just starting to watching. So knowledge bases are what we're using to help the AI model put context around your questions. Correct me on this. It doesn't actually train because the knowledge base is only good, or is that considered a training model?
No. So now we're starting to talk about RAG within Open-WebUI, right? So we have an embedding model behind the scenes. We passed via the GenAI tile. We also have PG vector wired up too, and we can start to say, hey, we're gonna make this knowledge base, which is just really a concept within Open-WebUI, and so this will hold documents on Nick's schedule.
Right? So these knowledge bases are more they're context for that particular question, chat, or do they persist past?
So they'll persist past. So basically, now we have a database hooked up to it. It will save that, and then we can say, hey, we can add additional files. So like this is too where some of the there's some kind of debate within the Open-WebUI community where embedding models start doing like things called chunking and kind of chunking the data up. And that potentially can cause that's usually done to help the LLMs, but sometimes that causes issues where now you can also just upload an entire document, especially if you have a model that has a larger context length, and it can just take that whole document and just jam it in its own context. And typically, even now, that'll even do a better job at responding to like a certain document. So this use case, I actually want to try doing just the pure like document upload as well versus the embedding. But when you start talking about doing some of these embeddings and chunkings, you're talking like we're going to have a ton of data that we got to process and then store all these embeddings and host in a database, because like we might have like hundreds of gigs of files or something, and like you're not going to stuff that in the active context of really any large language model. So that's kind of where the trade-offs kind of go, so to speak.
So I'm kind of thinking, in this, the knowledge base is analogous to like Claude projects or custom GPTs, where I can say, hey, here's all the stuff that I want to be relevant to what we're doing in this particular project or this particular GPT. That way you can kind of customize what the output's going to be instead of just general. It's going to be very specific to whatever you put in the knowledge base.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair statement. So I'm going to upload a couple Word docs. I'm going to upload that. I'm just going to save that into the system. And now, again, it's going to, and also why I want to try to get through the S3 example as well. A relational database like Postgres isn't, a great place to store a bunch of docs as well. So like, the docs should actually be stored, because like you can kind of pick and like, kind of, now that we have them here, Open-WebUI is aware of them. Hold on.
You got to sneeze, cough.
Hopefully I muted in time. But
you did.
Okay. I was trying not to. Hold on. Fighting off a little bit of a cold here, so I ran out of steam. But the Open-WebUI can use these documents kind of as ad hoc as you call it. So, and then these are currently going to be processed as embeddings. We'll start to see. I was seeing some of the chunking issues too, so maybe we can kind of mix and match if we have enough time. But let's go back to chat. Let's do a new chat, and then go back to Gemma on this one, and say, you will be. This is essentially giving it a prompt. You'll be you'll be an assistant to help Nick with his VMware schedule. And, please be prompt in answering and help Nick. Please be prompt in answering, and yeah, something like that. And and talk like Yoda. Great. All right, so we're gonna ask it that, and yeah. All right, so yeah. So now it's going off. It's doing its thing, and it's asking me like what's going on. So can I track your sessions? Can I find the right room? Did you miss any talks? And then speak to me, young Nick. Speak. Tell me what you need. So it's kind of got a little Yoda vibes going on there, but we'll see here.
You just ruined me for all my future chat sessions. I'm gonna have to put the speak like Yoda and everything now.
Well, and that's another thing too within Open-WebUI. So if I go back to my workspaces, oh boy, I clicked on it. Where'd it go? What? Is my app like something is like my browser is frozen? Am I still here? Okay. I don't know. That's weird. I'm still here, right?
You're still here.
Okay. All right. And like everything kind of froze me for a second. So like you can store prompts here and have import prompts, export prompts, have many different, like I could have typed that whole like that whole ditty in there and save, and then I could have just let's just do that right now. Let's do pirate Captain, was it Captain Whiskerpaws?
Whiskerpaws.
Whiskerpaws. I should probably do prompt content. Okay, yeah. where do I type it? Oh, right somewhere here. You are Captain Whisker Paws. Oh boy.
Now we keep seeing Nick go back and correct spelling errors and stuff, but one of the things I love about almost every one of these models is very forgiving of knowing that we're not going to type everything correctly. Very good at inferring of what we want to say instead of how we misspell words.
Wow. And they're also really bad at spelling, which is very human-like if anything. So they're not necessarily the best spell checkers, which is, I would have thought that would have been like just something they knock out of the park. But like, you've seen the test of like, we can do that too live. It's like, how many R's are in the word strawberry? That seems to be, that's like the six fingers situation too, while listening to the Cloud Foundry weekly podcast. You have a epic crew and can't get enough content on Gen AI and Bosch related deployments. I don't know. I'm just I'm gonna hit save and create. Title. So that was so it's the slash Captain. All right, that's a long Captain Whisker Paws. All right, yeah, let's do it. Save and create.
Cool.
Okay, so now I have a prompt there, and we can show you how the prompting works in Open-WebUI. All right, so we'll go back to my image analysis with an assistant. VMware Explorer schedule help. Sorry. So if I had done that, so another thing too, when you're using Open-WebUI, if you do you can toggle all the models, so you can start a chat. You can ask it on like Ask Gemma 2 about a question, and that could also then toggle and be like, what does Llama 3.3 think of this? And then in that same chat window, you can kind of go back and forth between different models. But I'm not going to do that.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So now I'm going to do, because I've got this knowledge, I can say #, here's my file, VMware Explorer 24 schedule Barcelona. So now I'm going to say, use that document in your reference store, which has been embedded, and say, now this isn't going to be as good as it used to be, right? What sessions does, because I think I changed the embedding model I was using last year. Oh, whoa, I didn't do that. Something, okay. Something proactively. Okay, wow. Okay, now it's doing autocomplete, and I don't know how it's doing that, but well, okay. What sessions does Nick have? I'm sorry, I'm asking the wrong. Nick have on Tuesday. So we'll ask it, and we'll do its thing, and then it'll process it. And this will take a little bit of time because these are all this model is on CPUs, so it takes a little bit of process the embeddings. But
now, we'll see how many people get this reference. But after watching that autocomplete for you, now I'm waiting for your AI to tell you, "I'm sorry, I can't do that for you, Dave."
Yeah, well, one day we're gonna get there.
You didn't get that reference, did you?
From like Space Odyssey, Hal, right?
Yeah, Hal.
Yeah,
all right, you did.
Yeah,
all right, so to say you're making me feel old, but
I've been on the internet for a while. Jeez. Okay, I see.
At least a day or two.
Yeah. I mean, I've grown up with the internet, right? I remember, on that note, like explaining to my kids like what dial-up internet used to be was like this strange conundrum. Like, what do you? I don't like explaining to him that not everything wasn't just always connected to the internet, and like concept of like Wi-Fi and just strange times. Okay.
I used to have the whole modem sound in the background, so when people started lagging, I would just play that sound while they were on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like explaining to him like when you went on a computer and you went to like download an image on the internet, it went like Paint.
Yep.
Like, yeah, like so like when you go download a 150 gig game on your Xbox and it takes like 10 minutes, you still don't understand why I think that's somehow like a miracle. But anyway,
this is where we start the old grumpy men in the corner thing. Well, back in our day,
yeah, exactly.
Get off my lawn.
All right. So back to our regularly scheduled programming. Gemma came back. On Tuesday, Nick has these sessions. Okay. And then it's going to reference the doc it used. It's seen some scoring about Wednesday. Where's Tuesday? Tuesday's going to be in here. Monday, Tuesday. Ask me anything about this, and at the Meet the Hall. So I think it came back. Yeah, I think we were okay on that pretty well, and it references a document. Does it open the document? Oh, it just downloaded the document. So sure, let's open that. And I think some of this too is like I could tweak some of the embeddings and see how that processes it, or maybe try a different embedding model. Nomics, I was using I think like a different embedding model. This one's using Nomic right now, so it's getting there. We could probably do some tweaks and things like that. But that's kind of another thing of like, hey, if you had your own documentation, let's see here, words here's the actual file, right? So that's kind of what I was using to generate some things. And let's see, 11 to 11:30. Yeah. So I had this session, Tam, and then so it looks like this one missed a couple of them. I think that's because of some of the embeddings. So over time, Open-WebUI has changed how it processes documents, and then I think that's why we're starting to get some in the Open-WebUI community to just say, hey, I don't want to actually embed the document if I don't have to. I just want to pass this whole Word doc directly in context, and it'd probably perform a lot better. So
right.
Your mileage may vary there.
The point here is this is how you iterate through it. This is how you learn stuff, right?
Yeah. And then, again, to just generally building any of these, like, talking about building AI applications or intelligent applications in general, you're going to have to want to play with your models, see how they respond. Some models will be better at other things. Some models are obviously built for other things. Like we have that vision model where like it does images, or an embedding model, things of that nature. And that's really love Open-WebUI here, where we can just kind of easily toggle between that within the Cloud Foundry ecosystem.
Man, I'm not sure which part Keith is responding to here, but we get the classic. I don't know what he's responding to there, but something hit with him.
Yeah, I'm guessing when we met old grumpy internet people. I don't know.
The old grumpy internet guys.
Yeah.
The tail between two grumpy nicks. All right.
I don't know how well that show would be. It'd either be brilliant or terrible. I don't know. Okay, what else? What are we going to cover? Let's see. All right, so maybe we can go back to Captain Whisker Paws for a moment.
Well, and while you're talking about that, I'll bring up, so, the last couple shows we had between Open-WebUI and then we had MCP, inspired me. I went and redid my personal website. I used AI to do it. I'm not a Java guy. Everybody knows I am not a developer, but I got to use Cursor to help me build out my new website. Amazing. I'm not going to lie. It probably helped me build 50% plus of that website, at least get me going. And I used it to not only help build the website, but to help train me on using Nuxt to build it. Cursor is an amazing product. AI is definitely going to be the assistant that we all needed. Have you got a chance to look at Cursor yet?
So I've heard a lot of people talk about Cursor. I myself haven't used it directly. I've used a lot of things that I think are similar. I think the one thing that Cursor has that maybe a lot of other things is, so like you download like check my math here. You download like a VS Code like client on your machine. It's its own thing. It's not an actual plugin within VS Code. Right?
Correct.
And then you have some type of plan that you can use, and then it essentially you ask like questions, and then it actually sends it off to like their servers, and then it's kind of like this proxy layer between all the models, right?
Yep.
And I think they have plans based on how many whatever model you want to use, and then they're doing some like secret sauce to help cache, instruct, help take input back, and then kind of help you like write code, so to speak.
Yeah, it was doing a lot of the same things that you were doing here, right? You can include your codes with @ symbols, and you can even go and pick, hey, I prefer Claude over GPT, or I prefer Gemini over DeepSeek. You can kind of help set which one you want to use. Now, the one thing I noticed, because I played around with Copilot, I played around with Cursor. Copilot was good. It didn't do all the things Cursor did. Cursor very easily helped you, hey, here's my problem. It explained it out for you, explained why it did things. And then it also helped you do the accept to merge whatever it came up with in your code. It was a great experience. Like I said, it would have taken me weeks or maybe even months to do what I was able to do with Cursor on my website. So
Yeah,
go check it out. Very cool. First thing I did was went and talked to you, Nick, and said, "Man, you got to play with this."
yeah, and I still need to check it out. Like the last few weeks, let me tell you, like I've just been like nonstop, just super busy. Like I don't know what's going on, but like the world is all meeting at once, and like great stuff. It's just like, whew, lots of things to do. Let me see here. I was trying to find one of my posts here. We're talking about going back to Captain Whisker Paws, and I kind of was trying to bring in my latest project here in the homelab, and I posted I guess we'll do the tweet. I don't know whatever social. Here we go. Here, this will work. We'll bring this up on the screen here. So I don't know if you actually hear it. I hear it starting to rev up here. It might be getting muted out here, but we got we all know based on the previous sessions and especially the home lab holiday party, they may or may not have a slight home lab problem. But in order to keep my problem very well active, I've started this new project just to kind of really expand my local LLM horizon scene, right? And I think I don't know, I just like running these locally and having the full power behind my all within my four walls, so to speak. And I'm not concerned about where the what the AI is doing with all the calls. And I like testing a lot of the stuff I'm working on too. So anyway, this is a new project. It's a super micro, super AI workstation build. Again, I may have mentioned this before. It's theoretically possible to put this under like a tower, like a big tower, like large system, like sit it on the ground. But it's rack mounted in my rack, and I wouldn't advise it trying to have this in your like office because it's loud now. So
am I counting 7 fans in that thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus the power.
Yeah, so we got so think of like like the classic server flow here. Like we're typically you got an internal like slot of like wall of fans, right? And they can go real high rev, and they're just like just pushing air through the system, right? And these are Tesla P40s. Like on another note, this is a very common card to use in like kind of the local AI testing. These are older generation NVIDIA enterprise data center cards. So they are passively cooled. So there's no actual fan in them. They have an open air slot, basically right where those power pins are coming in, and we just got air flowing through them. They do make a bevel to have like an air channel made to help that flow. I'm thinking one of these GPUs is running way hotter than the other. So I'm thinking the one that's closest to these CPUs and memory banks are probably having it's getting a little hotter than normal. And then also there's another set of fans here that help pull air from the CPUs, because these are dual Xeon Cascade Lake, and a terabyte of RAM in this box. So it's got a decent amount of gear besides the GPUs running in it. So they make another external fan kit to like it actually goes on the outside of the PCIe brackets, and then I think that would help kind of pull more air out through the system. So I'm going to try to find that part number and order it and go from there. But it's working, it's running. eBay's Junkyard Wars completed. Everything's functional. So I'm happy there. And you actually kind of see it here on the left-hand screen.
I'm with Keith, man. It's time to break out the 3D printer. There's got to be STL files out there for that stuff.
Yes. Yes, for the shroud, I'm sure. I could probably make something with some fans that I have already. So that's a good idea. So I do have a 3D printer I've never used before, so maybe I can actually build it and start using it.
By the way, Nick has a lot of equipment that he's never used before. We talk about this on a common basis. Hey, have you seen this thing? Yeah, I've got one. You ever used it? No, and I've had it for like a year and a half.
Yeah. I may or may not like to buy things, and one day I'll use them. I don't know. I said I know I'm not using it currently, but I have used the Elgato prompter a couple of times now. But it's still, to me, I don't know. I got to figure out how to put it on top of my my monitor.
I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah,
I'll send you some stuff because I love that product.
Yeah,
but
if you have an arm that fits on top, or a solution to get it on top, because it's like I don't think I can do this without like breaking my monitor. So
100%.
I have it on another arm, but it doesn't go up high enough. So yeah,
we'll talk later. But 100%, I do. Yep.
Okay,
I'll help you.
All right.
Well, all right.
Then now, yes. So anywho, we got our giant server running. And I got the 4 P40s attached. This is a Bosch deployed VM. It's running that Llama 3. It's been running our Captain Whiskerpaws chat.
Right.
Where are we at? So yeah. So now because I'm curious. What do you know about Cloud Foundry Weekly? So we're gonna see what's going on there, right? And we should see. It's a podcast that's near and dear to Captain Whiskerpaw's heart. As a pirate cat who loves sailing the high seas and listening to tech podcasts, pretty fond of the show. Is a real world podcast covers news, trends, and topics related to Cloud Foundry, an open source platform as a service PaaS that enables developers to build, deploy, and manage applications in the cloud.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Now I wonder if it knows our names.
Oh, it's a good question.
Yeah.
That'll tell you if. Well, now this is local, so this is still pulling from the model, right? So it's
so Llama 3.3 is, yeah, so it's relatively recent, right? So I don't know if this is just like it's like putting things together, right? Like are doing some hallucinations or whatever based on what's going on, but interesting. It's
That's
getting
right.
pretty
If
close.
you're a developer, engineer, or tech enthusiast looking to stay up to date on the latest trends, you need to watch this show.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And and who knows, you might even learn something new to impress Captain Whiskerpaws and her crew. So cool. I love. So another reason why I did this is so I can run so this is a 70 billion parameter model, right? And the higher you go, the more smarter these models become. And I just literally did not have enough resources to run anything locally of that size.
I won't make a single comment about the more smarter.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's how I wanted to. That's how I don't know.
Dude, I love it.
I'm going to roll with more smarter, right? Yeah, not most smart or more intelligent.
SMRTR.
Whatever.
Yep.
Well,
let's see if it knows who we are. See if it knows who the hosts are.
Who are the? Okay, yeah. This will be the kicker here.
We got like 3 minutes left. Let's see if it knows.
Yeah, it's Captain Whiskerpaws, 100%. Okay, well, yeah, it's just hallucinating because I don't know a Simon Middleton.
I don't either.
Well. Okay, we tried. Nah, Nibbler chance. I don't. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe it was just hallucinating the whole time. We haven't been trained on anything. I'm a little deflated, and maybe you're Simon. I'm Nibbler. I don't know. Who knows? We tried. Thanks, AI.
I'll be Nibbler.
Yeah. Okay. I really don't know what else to really cover here, but and we're bringing Captain Whiskerpaws is coming back in here now. Talk about Simon and Nibbler's banter. Shopta finds her some. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, that being said, yes.
Well, I do think this is almost a selfish question, but you got any travel plans for this upcoming month?
Not this month. No, I don't think so. Okay.
Well, then I'll go ahead and advertise. Man, I got a lot of travel coming up. So couple of things. Anybody, if you're in the public sector, I'm going to be at the AFA Warfare Symposium from the 3rd to the 5th here in Aurora, California, Aurora, Colorado. We're going to be at Scale 22 over in Pasadena. from the 6th to the 9th. SER or SRECon North America, 25th through the 27th, and then we'll be talking about KubeCon EU coming up 1st through the 4th of April.
Oh, you're gonna be well traveled. I
Yeah.
like it. We're gonna have to hear tales for all these conferences.
Well,
Now,
and we're going to have to figure some stuff out, because a lot of this travel is going to be during our Thursday show. So, we're going to have to try to be figuring some stuff out on how we're going to do this. So
yeah,
next week, I'm not going to be here, buddy.
Yeah, I think we got a good topic lined up for next week, so we'll continue on in your absence. But maybe we'll use an AI to fill in for you, and we'll create we'll create Simon and Nibbler, and they'll be our AI avatars with Captain Whisker Paws. I don't know.
Sounds good.
But yes. So yeah, this somewhat completes our I don't know, we'll call it exploration of Open-WebUI. I feel like some of this was just kind of shenanigans, but
you know what? Shenanigans are okay. Not everything has to be serious.
Yeah.
Are you putting what you're doing here with your experimentation? Is this a public repo or is this private?
So it is part of the GenAI sample repo. I'll do some I'll definitely do updates on the database here. So let me find that repo here. I'll put it in the chat.
Yep. We'll make sure we get it in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the the session breakdown of this episode looks like when we get through and we go back and add all the session breaks in this. Man, it's going to be like 43 different things. When we talked about Simon and Nibbler, we talked about Cursor. It's going to be all over the place. This should be fun.
We're gonna have to take all these documents and have it and fine tune a model based on all of our chats here.
That's right.
We're gonna make a new model called Captain Whisker Paws. I don't know. Anyway, that'll be the side project here. But I guess I don't know. Any other topics? Any closing thoughts? I guess I think we kind of covered this pretty well. Hopefully you haven't enough folks to enough knowledge to start really kind of playing around with this. If you're wanting to run this within the Cloud Foundry ecosystem, hopefully we've done that, showed that for you. And
yep.
Just
and if you don't, reach out to us. LinkedIn, Twitter, Cloud Foundry website. Reach out to us. If you do have questions, if something didn't make sense, leave comments down in this episode. If you got questions that we didn't answer, or you want to explore something new, let us know. And I guess, that's the obligatory like and subscribe, section of the show right there.
Well, Harry, let me stop my share. I've got a prop for this.
We're going low tech with our props, though.
Yeah,
I can already see it.
It's kind of getting, I don't know. It's too big. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's right.
I don't know. I guess Dan's had a better size on the screen here, but yeah,
that's right.
You should check that out. I don't know. That was probably a waste of purchase here. I did it one time, so hey, whatever. Check us out. Thanks for all the live streamers. Thanks for hanging on and chatting with us. Shout out to Keith, Deshaun, like always.
Yep, and like I said, we'll put the repo out in the show notes as well as what you see on screen. But leave some comments down in this episode if you got questions about how to get started, or if there's something about the code that doesn't make sense to you. Reach out to us. We'll jump in and we'll help you out, because we want to see people get started. There's a lot of use cases out there that people can do.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what people come up with.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Captain Whisker Paws does next. I don't know,
right.
But I guess on that note, we should probably sign off for today, and then we'll see. I guess you'll see me next week, and then we'll get back with Nikki whenever he's done with his world tour. We'll to see.
It's going to be a lot of travel, but if anybody's out at any of those events, you can find this on the events page. Go look at my website. You can see it on the events. If anybody's out there, come by, stop, say hi, introduce yourself. Let's start talking.
Now, do you have any stickers left?
I've got a lot of stickers left. Yeah, I'm taking stickers for the current stuff, and I'm taking stickers for this. So
you should find Nikki and at least get your CF Weekly sticker and share the word, and all the fun coder stuff he's got to share as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, I guess we'll do our sign off here.
All right.
Well, 3, 2, 1. CF.
Bye.